Okay, so since I keep getting this question, I've talked about the Fujifilm GFX, and I don't know how many people are going to buy the camera. And a bunch of people are going, oh my god, the camera's useless because it's only got a 1/125th second sync speed. And they're like, that sucks, it should at least be 1/250th. And it doesn't have leaf shutter lenses. Well, yeah, I'm sure the people at Fujifilm are really stupid, but let me point out the error of your ways. Okay? Okay? Advantage number one, and there are many here. A, that's just not do advantage, but A, you can stick leaf shutter lenses on it with the adapter. So, yes, you can raise the shutter curtain, focal plane shutter, and use leaf shutter lenses on the Fujifilm GFX. Boom! Point number one. Point number two, I don't know if you know this or not, but in a studio setting, when your studio strobes comprise like 80+%, and it's usually a lot higher than that, 80+% of your shot, that becomes your actual shutter, not the shutter on your camera. Okay? Okay? It's like, if it's totally dark in your studio and you like take a bulb shot at 1 second, but your studio strobe fires at 1/13,000th of a second, guess what happens? Your effective shutter speed becomes the T1 time. That's 90% of the flash pulse from your studio strobes or speed lights. Becomes the T1 time of your studio strobe, which would be, for example, 1/13,000th of a second on a 1 second exposure. Did I make myself clear on that? Point number three. In having a focal plane shutter, guy, you're able to use these nice tilt shift adapters with large format lenses, so you're able to do perspective control. Now, if you had a leaf shutter lens camera, that would not be possible. Yeah, you feel me there? Also adapting like freaky deaky lenses. You get these little $60 adapters. You can stick all sorts of crazy ass medium format lenses like that. Yeah, if it were a leaf shutter camera, you wouldn't be able to do that because there'd be no shutter in the camera. Yeah. There we go with that, bitches. Point number five, or whatever it is I'm on right now. The GFX uses also, and I've got two of them, the Fujifilm EFX 500 speed light. Now, obviously, that's not a serious power lighting tool, but it's plenty enough powerful for, say, 2 15 feet, even a little bit more than that, depending on what you're doing. And you're able to do 1/4000th of a second high-speed sync with it, which is pulsed light. Okay, let me repeat myself. You are able to do high-speed sync at 1/4000th up to 1/4000th of a second on the GFX when you're using the Fujifilm GFX. And people also, additionally, are developing one studio strobe and some more speed lights, including the Nissan, which is going to have that updated here in a couple weeks, literally. More speed lights for high-speed sync photography with all Fujifilm, including the GFX. Let me lick my fingers. There we go. I think that was point number 7. So actually, I'm not at all concerned about the 1/125th second sync speed on the Fujifilm GFX. It is absolutely not an issue at all. Like, say if I'm going to shoot outdoors, I'm going to shoot somebody that's backlit and it's like 2 p.m. crap light. What I'm going to do is I'm going to expose from my ambient. Okay, it's like, oh, I'm going to shoot wide open at f4, f2.8, whatever lens it is I'm using. You screw on an ND filter, not necessarily an ND filter, just expose from my ambient and raise up the flash level to meet my subject. I can't snap with that finger anymore. There we go. I'm really pissing somebody off. Hey, you snap your fingers, you fat bald tattooed freak. Grow a pair. So all those people that have said to me, and I've seen like a dozen comments, they're like, hey, camera, good. 1/125th of a second sync speed. I'm like, I don't care. It's not an issue because I know how to work it. Know how to work it. It's not an issue at all. So you can use leaf shutter lenses with it. If the camera were a leaf shutter leaf shutter lens camera, that would be not so good because I wouldn't be able to use a tilt shift adapter. I wouldn't be able to adapt third-party off-brand lenses on it. Lots of other stuff. That becomes a problem. Everything is a trade-off. So by having a focal plane shutter, it gives you what we call flexibility. There's that neat word, flexibility. You ever seen those people that like bend their, the contortionists? Oh God. Yeah, man. Hello. You know what I'm talking about? The contortionist is like, ooh. Flexibility. So, focal plane shutter gives you significant flexibility over leash. Now, the benefits of leash shutter are undeniable, but they're all are also with interchangeable lens, not like the Fujifilm X100F. I mean, it has a non-removable lens, okay? There are downsides to camera that is the leaf shutter, because once you take that off, you can't do tilt shift adapter, no use of third-party lenses because the shutter's in the lens. But by raising that focal plane shutter, you are able to use leaf shutter lenses. So you can use Hassie leaf shutters on lenses with the adapter on the GFX. And you're able to do high-speed sync, which is pulse light, with the Fujifilm GFX. And there's a lot more options actually coming, so it's not an issue. And also, like I said too, your T1 time on your Speedlight Studio strobe is 80% of the totality of your lighting, which it is for studio. It's actually in studio, it's basically always 90% or higher. Then, doesn't matter that your sync speed is 1/25th, because it is whatever the T1 time of your strobes or speedlights are. Because in flash photography, boy, when your strobe and speedlight is 80-90% above, or 80-90% of the totality of your light, say 10% ambient or so, then flash duration is your actual shutter, not the shutter on the camera. People don't understand that. Because camera sensors work off of saturation, and they don't work off shutter speed. Shutter speeds are only there to provide an interval of saturation. But if your speedlights or strobes are doing all the saturation in blink of a time, it don't matter that your shutter speed is 1/125th. Do you feel me? Do you understand me? Comprende? Ты понимаешь, as they say in Russian? По-русскому языка. Точно. Точно, товарищ капитан. Right? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. I feel like crap because I had too much coffee and I didn't get enough sleep last night. Yeah. If you like this video, drop me a buck or two. Tell me to jump off a cliff. Whatever makes you happy. Whatever tickles your pickle. Whatever wiggles your worm. Yeah. Can't wait for my Fujifilm GFX to get here. Yeah. It and my light meter are going to do this. My light meter, my GFX Fujifilm are going to like bow, bow, chicka, chicka. Oh, yeah. Bow, bow.